What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to talk about man routes in NCAA Football 06. In our previous videos, we talked about identifying man and zone coverage and certain types of defensive coverages. We also talked about how to throw the football. Well, now we're going to kind of put all that together, and we're going to focus on man routes, cover 0, 1, and 2, and how to throw to those specific man routes. Now, I got a list of routes here. We got about 15 or so to look at. These are going to be the bulk of the best man routes in the game. I may miss one. If I do, I can go cover that maybe in another video. But hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a really good understanding about how to throw to specific routes that beat man. I'm going to go from high to low. We're going to go with the deep ball stuff first, and we're going to just make our way down more or less. Let's start off with the most basic one, and that is the go route. You see this play right here, flood. We're going to go ahead and select that. And we're going to go up against a cover 0. Basically, you just want to do this against cover 0. There are more advanced things I can show you later on. But when you see a go route against man, I suggest you go to one of these. Tap the button. You already know how to do this. You just tap the button and throw it to him. We're going to do it one more time. Again, just tap the button and let him make a one-on-one play. You could take control of the receiver if you want. The big thing here is cover 0, tap the button. Okay? We also got like the wheel route. It's kind of like a sister route to the go, and we can go ahead and select, for example, if I can find it right here, slot wheels. This is your wheel route on the right side. Here's another one on the left. We're gonna go ahead and select this, and we're gonna go up against again another cover 0, and I suggest you attack that. We'll come over here. We'll give this route a little more space, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the one on the right side. Just tap the button and let him go get it. Sometimes you make a bad throw, sometimes you don't. I don't put any English on it or anything. I'm just waiting for him to make his cut, and then I'm just going to lob it up and see if he can make a play just a little bit farther. We can try that again. I'm not too worried about actually converting this, but I just wanted to show you, you're just tapping the button and let him go up and get it. Now, you see the one on the left side? It's no different. You just have to be mindful of how close you are to the sideline. Sometimes you may have a situation where the quarterback may throw it out of bounds. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's why if you throw it over to a wheel route, it's got more grass to play with, you got a much better chance of making the play. That just, common sense there. But again, the wheel route, no different to the go. It's just a little bit slower. Once he makes his final little curve there, then you just tap it and throw over the top, and hopefully he can make the catch. Okay, let's talk about outside post against man. Outside post, for me, is another cover 0 beater. We can go ahead and select one. Like, here's an example, corner strike. This is like a 2-step post, but all the posts pretty much work the same. But we'll go ahead and select this one, and we'll go up against another just cover 0. Let's come over here. Let's give this post a little bit more space to work with. Cover 0, treat it no different than a go. Just tap the button and let him go get it. Now, this is a situation where you may have a double team. That's only because we have a lot of congestion right here. But the point is, just throw it, tap it. As soon as he makes his final cut, that's always rule number 1 when throwing these. Throw it as soon as he makes that final cut. The big thing here, though, cover 0, throw it over the top, just tap the button. Final cut, just throw it. Let's see if he can get it. That's a tough, good play by the defender. Let's see if I can get a stop right there. Maybe not, we'll see. All right, good deal. Okay, we got to end on a high note, so let's just try this one more time. We'll go over the top here to this post. This looks a little bit better. Boom. Good deal. And we're off to the races. Okay. That is the outside post. There are other ones. It's still no different, like this PE read. Outside post against man. I just think it works best against cover 0. Still, I suggest you just tap it. Some people think you can do a hard press and get away with it. We can try that. Here's an example. Gun 2-back slot. We can go with like this play right here. Halfback circle. We have an outside post. Let's go over here. We'll just go against cover 0 again. And what we could do here is, what if I throw the ball super hard? Something like that. You can make that work just because he had inside release on that corner. You see he's got the inside. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. It's up to you how you want to do it. I think you'll be better off if you just tap the button. I think you just got a better chance of making the completion. But again, you can still hard press, or you can hold down the button if you want to. Something like this. And you may have something like that happen. It's up to you how you want to do it. I kind of suggest you just tap the button, though. All right, let's talk about an inside post. Now we're getting more inward, getting a little more shorter. Let's go with a gun spread, and we'll go with deep attack. This is a slot post. We call these the outside post, but this is going to be a slot post. Here, you can do cover 0. Let's just go ahead and try that. We'll go against cover 0, and let's pretend this is your best cover 0 beater in this play. Yes, we got 2 go routes, but maybe you want to go over the top with the post. You could do that. He's got some space to work with. You could treat it no different than the outside post, but we got 2 go routes. Those are easier to throw to. What you can do and what's actually best for slot post is actually a pretty good solid press of the button. So let's go ahead and select that. We'll go up against a cover 2. Cover 2, it splits the defense, and you can hold down the button like that, and you got a really good chance of making a good play right there. Up to you how you want to do it. If there's like a man in front of that's a tap of the button, really didn't mean to do that. If there's like a linebacker kind of sitting, you may have to press the button, like you may have to do something like that. But again, just something you just got to have to play with. But in the end, if you're not going to treat that slot post as a cover 0 beater, you can go ahead and do something like this, and he practically turns it to like a dig route if you throw it hard enough. Okay, so those are your post against man. Pretty simple. They're all about the same. Outside, think more cover 0. Inside, more or less cover 2 or cover 1. Now, if you're going to go cover 1 against those, I kind of suggest you don't. I'll go ahead and show you that to you now. We'll go ahead and select deep attack. We'll go up against a cover 1. The problem you may have is that safety is going to be sitting right there on it. Notice how close he was to the throw. I suggest you don't have that situation. That's why I'm thinking cover 0 or cover 2. All right, let's talk about the outside deeper routes like corners and flags. Let's go to gun 5 wide, and let's go to, where's it at? I'm looking for, there it is, split in corners. This is a corner route. That is a corner route. So let's go ahead and just select split in corners. We'll go up against a cover 1. These are good cover 0 beaters as well, but let's do it against a cover 1. They do just as well. So let's look at the one on the left side. Think press the button. Okay, makes his final cut. Just a bad throw by the quarterback. Let's see if we can make that look a little bit better. I'll never promise to have these look really great, but let's see. That's just really good defense. Most of the time, the receiver will be able to get right in front of it. Something like that's a little bit better. That's more consistent. But against cover 0 or 1, you can pull that off. Same on the other side, that other corner route. Do a press of the button, and you can have something like that. Again, cover 0, cover 1, just do a basic press of the button, and I think you're going to be okay. Something like that. Not a very good throw on my part. This may be a pick 6. Hopefully I can stop it. But either way, I think you're going to be fine with this. If you feel safer by not throwing it against a cover 1, just do it against cover 0. It's up to you. Biggest thing is just press the button after he makes his final cut. You got flag routes, or I guess that's what they call them. Like we'll go to, you see this play right here, slot corners. This is a flag route. Is it really any different than a corner? Not really. It's just a little quicker. But these are typically in the slot. You will rarely see this route on the outside receiver. Either way, I actually suggest you do these against cover 1 or cover 0. We'll do a cover 0. We'll come over here. These are a little bit harder to throw to. I suggest you still do a press of the button. No different than that corner route. You may want to put a little English on it. That should have been caught. You could do a tap of the button. If you do that, you can see what happens. I think this is kind of dangerous. Yes, we scored a touchdown, but again, I think you're better off just press the button. Something that you just need to practice on. Basic press, like just another bad throw. These are really hard to throw to, but again, they really work well against man routes if your quarterback can handle it. Let's try that one more time, see if we can make it look better. That's not bad. He's going to get a catch anyways. I'm going to get a touchdown out of it. Anyway, that's something to think about. Technically, treat them no different than those outside corners, okay? Now let's talk about curl routes and comeback routes. Let's go to gun spread, and let's go to wide receiver curls. These are your curl routes. These are very high risk, high reward man beaters, but I love them to death when they work. It's just like any other route that's got a stop or a cut of some sort, throw it after he makes his cut. So let's go against wide receiver curls. Now we're getting to the shorter routes. I suggest you go up against like cover 1 or cover 2 for these. Now you can do this against cover 0, but there's a good chance you'll have a deeper ball somewhere else. So after he makes his final move, hold down the button. Just a bad throw by the quarterback. Biggest thing, Hold down the button, wait till he makes his final, come back to you, move, boom. When he gets some decent yardage, we can go to the other curl route on the right side. He comes back to you, good little throw there, going to pick up nice 10 to 15 yards. Again, cover 0, you can do it. You can do cover 1, cover 2. Just don't throw it if he's double teamed. Just throw it as hard as you can. Hold on to that button. Pay attention to the little controller, the gamepad viewer I got on the bottom right, and you see how hard I'm throwing this thing. I'm still holding on to the button even after he makes the catch. Okay, so that's your basic curl route. I love him to death. We're going to do it one more time. Let's see if I can make this look good. Not a very good throw. No big deal. Let's go to the comeback route. This is a little deeper, but I would treat it no differently. You see like halfback circle. Once he makes his final cut, just throw it as hard as you can. So we'll go ahead and select that. We'll go up against a cover 1. That's fine. This works for anything or against any type of coverage. My final cut, just hold down the button. Very simple. This is a little safer than the basic curl routes, but there's not many of these comeback routes in the game. If you notice this particular route, this guy goes inward. Let me get to it. This guy goes inward a little bit and then cuts up. There are other ones where he cuts towards the outside and does that, the same thing. But I suggest you go to these a little bit more often, just a little bit safer. As you can see, we really had no problem throwing to that guy once he made his cut. Big thing though, just throw it as hard as you can. Hold on to that button and you should be fine. Let's talk about out routes. These are probably the safest routes in the game. And I'm talking about any type of out route like this. This is a zig out. Then you have, for example, this is a basic out route. We can go and do this out route over here, but with the angle. Let's go up against a cover 1, for example. Let's come over here. What I suggest you do, what I suggest you do with the left side, give him more grass to play with. Something like that. If you come over here and he doesn't have a whole lot of grass to play with on the left side, you notice, you may get some interesting situations. Like he may come back for it. You may throw it out of bounds. I suggest you give him a little more grass to play with. That's a situation you don't want to have to deal with right there. That's why I suggest you give him more grass. So let him make his final cut. Hold down the button. Terrible throw on my part. I don't know what happened there. That's super rare. I promise you, anybody who's watched me play this game knows that is a super rare interception. We'll do that one more time, though. This is what you're normally going to see. Something like this. A little bit more safer. Anyway, those are probably the best man routes in the game. That's a basic out. We can go look at the zig route. Something like this right here. Just a zig out. Just a little two-step look. I like these just as well. We'll go up against cover 2. That's fine. Make his final cut and then hold down the button. Look at that spacing right there. Incredible. I love the zig outs. They work really well in this game. Something like this. One more time. Just a really good throw. Good play. All that good stuff. So that is the outs. It doesn't matter the depth of these. Like, for example, we've already looked at, where's it at? This is like a 10-yard out. That zig out over here is like a 6 to 7 yard route. You may have a super deep out, like an A slot deep outs. It's still the same thing. Once he makes his final cut, hold down the button. Okay? Now let's talk about the dig routes, the in routes. I'm talking about these right here. This is a little dig or an in where he goes inside. This is the same one as well. You also got like a zig in. We can go to like the ace and normal. And we got this right here. That's a zig in. So let's go ahead and just select that one. Treat it no differently as you would an out route. Just be mindful there are more bodies in the middle of the field when you throw to these. I like throwing it to them. They're really fun. You know, just throw it as hard as you can as soon as he makes his final cut. Something like this. Again, just very simple. We can go to a basic in route. We'll go back to that like gun trips. Something like a halfback out again. We could do cover 2. That's fine. You got to remember, now we're using the pass skeleton, so we don't have any offensive linemen out here. But if you're going to throw it over the middle, yes, you can throw this as hard as you can to a dig, and you may do just fine with it. But there may be a lingering linebacker sitting there doing a spy, or a defensive end may have his hand up in the air. You may want to do a basic press of the butt just to get it over the line just a little bit. Just something to think about. Otherwise, treat them no different than the out routes. Just throw it as hard as you can. Don't worry about the depth. They all work the same way. Now let's talk about drag routes. These are actually better against zone, but they work fine against man, so I did not want to leave them out. This is a drag route. Very old school stuff, really good. I really enjoy these. They just go right above the offensive line, and just it's an out route in the grand scheme of things. Towards the end, it's still just an out route. So what we're going to do, we'll go up against like a cover 2 man. That's fine. We'll come over here. Normally I have drag routes, and we'll talk about this in the zone video in the next one. I normally have drag routes going to the short side of the field. They tend to work better, especially against zone. That's why I moved it over to the left hash. But either way, throw it as hard as you can. Hopefully your quarterback can make a better throw than that one. Something like this, he may pick up a few yards. It all depends on how quick he is beating his defender. That was just a bad throw. Let's see if we could try something else. That's just, again, he's just got to make the catch. I promise you they're not bad. You can go back and look at my last couple of games and with my Arizona team, and I've done a whole lot better job with those drag routes against man. Like here's an in and ups. This is another one. You'll notice some of these drag routes, even though they look the same, some of them are quicker than others. I remember this one being pretty quick. Let's go here. We'll go cover 2 man. This is a little quicker. Of course, he got stuck on the tight end. But either way, these are safe man beaters. Every now and then, your drag route will get open a little quicker, and again, he just got stuck on a defender. That's not going to happen in real life, I promise you. But either way, those aren't bad. Just something to think about. Next up are slant routes, not actual slant routes. Like you see these slant routes right here. Let me see if I can find one. These slant routes, I wish they would work better against man, but they don't. These are what most people are used to seeing, but they are just not very good against man. What is decent is a 2-step slant. For example, or a 1-step, I should say. These right here, notice the receiver takes a little outside cut, and then he'll cut in. So let's go ahead and select this play. We'll go cover 2 man. For whatever reason, he just gets open a little bit better. A little bit better separation from his defender. We do this one more time. And then we had a defender sitting right there. That's probably not the best play to throw to, but I'm just saying, you can tell how he can get open if the throw is good enough. Like this is another one. This is like a lefty version. Fade to lay and an ace bunch. He just takes a hard step to the outside and then cuts in. So we can try that one. We'll go up against cover 2 man. That's fine. Wait till he makes his final cut. Hold the ball or hold the button down as best you can. Treat it no different than an out or an in. It's always after the final cut, hold the button. Something like this. Going to pick up 5 or 6 yards. Those are the slant routes I suggest you focus on there. All right, let's look at a couple of halfback routes. Let's go to gun normal, and let's go to tight end delay. This is a flare route. These are probably the best man beaters in the game for a halfback. Let's go ahead and select this. Well, we'll go up against a 4-3. That's fine. Cover 2. And normally I'll just do a basic press of the button like this, and he can pick up decent yardage. If you have a situation like this where the defender is really close on him, you may want to throw it harder. That's up to you. It just depends on the coverage. I can't go up against every single example to show you what it looks like, but you can just do something like this, throw it even harder, and he may be able to pick up a few extra yards. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. You see me use this 100 times over. This linebacker is defending this halfback. If you want this guy to defend this halfback, you can always just motion this guy over, and that forces the other guy to defend him. Now you got more room to play with. That's going to be an advanced thing we're going to cover in another video, but I just wanted to point that out. Otherwise, flare route, just do something like this, and you can get decent yardage just depending on what that defender is. Okay? The last one I want to talk about are angle routes. These are actually better against zone, but they work fine against man as well. Let's go ahead and do halfback angle. You see this angle route by the halfback. As soon as he makes his cut, guess what? You either do a press of the button or you can hold it. Just depends on how you want to do it. You can hold the button. Since he's going to be covered pretty easily by a defender, you may just want to hold down the button. He's not going to get a whole lot of great separation unless like a safety is on him and he's kind of further away. But either way, you can just do a hold down the button. You're going to get 4 or 5 yards. Pretty simple that way. It's not bad at all. We can do it one more time. This is a good like last ditch effort if the rest of your man beaters are not available. Okay, I think I've covered like 15 or so different routes. They're all good man beaters. Now what you could do is go into any playbook and look around and see what some of these routes. You know, okay, like halfback corner, for example. Hey, there's a go route. That's a cover 0 man beater. We got a little out route. Hey, that works against man too. Hey, here's an outside post. That works pretty well against man as well. Look at this. The halfback is running a, what is that? That's technically a flag route or a corner route. Those work good against man. So you can just tell by looking at a particular play how many man routes are in this one. That way you know you got plenty of options to work with. Here's another example, all curls. What do we talk about? Pretty much all of these curls work pretty well against man. These work a little bit better, but that's just something to think about. Just think about all these routes we covered, look at some of these plays, and you can instantly tell if you got enough man beaters in a play to make it work. All right, hopefully this was helpful. I'm hoping I covered at least 85 to 90% of the man routes in this game. If I left something out, we can cover in a later video. But at least now you have a pretty good idea of how to attack all the main man coverages and which routes to throw to. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.